Syngman Rhee, born on March 26, 1875, in Pyongyang, was a towering figure in modern Korean history, most notably as the first president of South Korea. His life, marked by exile, political activism, and eventual leadership of a newly established republic, is a testament to his unwavering dedication to Korean independence and sovereignty, although his presidency was marred by authoritarianism and eventual downfall. Early life and education. Rhee hailed from a Yangbon, noble family, rooted in Korea's traditional Confucian hierarchy. His early life was influenced by the geopolitical turmoil that Korea faced as it struggled between Chinese suzerainty and Japanese imperialism. Educated in classical Confucian texts, Rhee was initially groomed for the civil service exams, but his path drastically shifted after coming into contact with Western missionaries and ideas. In 1894, as Korea was caught in the midst of the Sino-Japanese War, Rhee became involved in anti-Japanese activism, which led to his imprisonment by the Korean monarchy in 1899. During this time, Rhee studied Western literature and honed his political philosophy, preparing him for a life that would merge Eastern tradition with Western political ideals. Upon his release in 1904, Rhee moved to the United States, where he embarked on an extensive academic career. He earned a bachelor's degree from George Washington University, a master's from Harvard University, and a PhD from Princeton University in 1910, becoming the first Korean to receive a doctorate from Princeton. His dissertation focused on the U.S. political system, reflecting his admiration for democratic governance, though he would later apply these principles in a manner that critics would argue was selective. Early political career and exile. As Korea fell under Japanese colonial rule in 1910, Rhee became an outspoken advocate for Korean independence on the international stage. Living in exile, he worked tirelessly to garner support from the United States and other Western powers. In 1919, the March 1st movement, a nationwide protest against Japanese occupation, catalyzed the formation of the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea in Shanghai. Rhee was appointed as its first president, though his leadership was largely symbolic, given the provisional government's lack of real power and resources. Nevertheless, Rhee used his position to promote Korea's cause in global forums, particularly in the League of Nations. During his time in the United States, Rhee cultivated relationships with influential figures, using his fluent English and knowledge of Western political systems to appeal to American audiences. Despite his efforts, Korea's plight garnered limited international support due to Japan's strategic alliances and military power. Rhee's persistence, however, positioned him as a leading figure in the Korean independence movement, although his autocratic tendencies and clashes with other Korean nationalists led to political isolation. Leadership in post-war Korea. The end of World War II brought about the division of Korea into Soviet-occupied North and American-occupied South, with both superpowers struggling to establish their spheres of influence. In the South, Rhee emerged as a favored candidate of the United States, which sought a staunch anti-communist to lead the new republic. Rhee's long-standing ties to the U.S. and his unwavering opposition to communism made him an ideal candidate. In 1948, Rhee became the first president of the Republic of Korea, a position he would hold for the next 12 years. Rhee's presidency coincided with one of the most tumultuous periods in Korean history. The outbreak of the Korean War in 1950 posed an existential threat to the nascent republic, as North Korean forces, backed by China and the Soviet Union, nearly overwhelmed the South. Rhee's strong anti-communist stance aligned South Korea closely with the United States and the United Nations forces that intervened to repel the North Korean invasion. Though much of South Korea was devastated by the war, Rhee's leadership, with considerable American military and economic assistance, helped ensure the survival of the South Korean state. Autocratic rule and legacy. Despite his role in preserving South Korea, Rhee's governance became increasingly authoritarian over time. His administration was characterized by widespread political repression, media censorship, and manipulation of the electoral process. The Korean National Police, under Rhee's control, became notorious for its brutality, while the president used emergency decrees to silence opposition and extend his rule. In 1952, facing increasing unpopularity, Rhee amended the constitution to allow for direct presidential elections, ensuring his re-election. In 1956, he further manipulated the political system to remove term limits, essentially positioning himself as a de facto dictator. Rhee's authoritarianism culminated in the rigging of the 1960 elections, which led to massive protests, particularly among students. The April Revolution, as it came to be known, saw widespread demonstrations against Rhee's regime, forcing him to resign and flee to Hawaii in April 1960. The revolution marked a turning point in South Korean politics, ending Rhee's 12-year rule and ushering in a brief period of democratic governance before the military coup of 1961. Later years and death. Exiled in Hawaii, Rhee lived in relative obscurity, though he continued to be a figure of historical significance. He died on July 19, 1965, in Honolulu. His legacy remains a complex one. While he is credited with founding the Republic of Korea and maintaining its sovereignty during a critical period, his autocratic rule and political repression have cast a long shadow over his contributions. Impact and controversy. Syngman Rhee's role in shaping modern Korea is undeniable, yet his leadership continues to be a subject of debate. To his supporters, Rhee was a patriot who tirelessly fought for Korean independence and preserved the fledgling South Korean state during the Korean War. His alignment with the United States helped ensure South Korea's survival and eventual prosperity, laying the foundation for the economic miracle that would follow in the latter half of the 20th century. However, to his detractors, Rhee was an autocrat whose disregard for democratic principles and human rights stunted South Korea's political development. His suppression of dissent, manipulation of the constitution, and use of state violence against opponents reflect the darker aspects of his rule. The April Revolution, which led to his ousting, was a powerful reminder of the limits of authoritarianism and the resilience of democratic aspirations in South Korea. Conclusion. Syngman Rhee's life encapsulates the complexities of Korea's modern history, from its struggle against colonial domination to its painful division and path to democracy. As South Korea's first president, Rhee was a pivotal figure in establishing the framework of the modern South Korean state. Yet, his legacy is marred by his authoritarian tendencies and the brutal methods he used to maintain power. Today, South Korea remembers him as both a founder of the nation and a cautionary figure whose failures paved the way for future democratic progress. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel